Geriatric Gait by Chuck, JJ, and BJ. Mr. Fisher was referred to physical therapy for a balance and gait analysis following an increase in number of falls. The physical therapist performed the initial subjective evaluation and began the gait analysis shortly after. What you see here in the following clips is the actual gait analysis broken down into each phase. A description of what one should see in typical gait is followed by an explanation of what atypical behaviors Mr. Fisher is demonstrating with his gait. To begin with, Hunter Fisher exhibits a foot flat position where there should be heel strike during initial contact. This could be due to weak dorsiflexors or limited hip flexion. During loading response, the knee is extended. The lack of knee flexion Mr. Fisher exhibits prevents the limb from adequately accepting body weight during this phase. Weak hamstrings could decrease the amount of flexion during this phase as well. The trunk is flexed forward, moving the center of mass more anteriorly on the base of support. He also maintains a kyphotic posture with rounded shoulders throughout gait that also contribute to the shift of center of mass. During mid-stance, the trunk remains extremely flexed. Therefore, the center of mass is located in front of the base of support. This decreases the step length and increases the amount of time spent in double limb support. The knee also goes into genu recurvatum due to weak quads. The stance limb does not plantar flex, possibly due to weakness, and weak hip flexors cause the limb to compensate and begin to circumduct. Thus, terminal stance is minimal to non-existent. There is also a lack of hip extension, therefore it does not encourage the hip flexors to fire into explosive flexion and begin swing phase. There is basically no pre-swing. The right lower extremity continues to circumduct, and there is no knee flexion and limited dorsiflexion to help clear the lower extremity. This also contributes to circumduction during initial swing. During mid-swing, hip circumduction is still present and the trunk remains flexed forward. The center of mass is still located anteriorly to the base of support. This once again causes the step length to be decreased. Heel strike is absent once again due to weak dorsiflexors. The foot contacts the floor in a flat foot position. Throughout the entire swing phase, there is lateral flexion away from the swing limb.
Hi there, I'm Joey Ganske. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm here with Hunter Fisher. We're going to be working on some of his postural imbalances that may be affecting his gait. One of the things we noticed was that he had some tight hip flexors. So an easy stretch that we can do is just to have him lay supine or on his back. And I want you to just let your leg hang off the edge of the table there until you feel a stretch in your groin area. How's that feel?
I feel a good stretch.
Okay. I want you to try to hold that for 20 seconds. And we're going to do that 5 times. And if you can, twice a day. And then remember to do that on both your right and left legs. Okay, another easy exercise to do for the geriatric population will be to stand at this chair here and basically just do a lunge. The reason for the chair is just for if you are to have balance issues, it's a little safer to be able to hold on to. So just go down with your knee touching the ground until you feel a stretch in your hip flexors, and hold that for 20 seconds, and then come back up. Also, we're going to try to do that 5 times, twice a day. Do you feel it stretching? Good. Good. All right.
Geriatric Sit to Stand by Chuck, JJ, and BJ. In addition to a gait analysis, Mr. Fisher was asked to perform several sit-to-stand transfers in order for the therapist to identify any other deficits that may also be contributing to Mr. Fisher's instability and increased falls. The action will be described phase by phase, both typical and atypical findings. In flexion momentum phase, there is an inability to move the center of mass over the base of support. This could be due to weakness in the trunk extensors or short, strong hamstrings. The trunk extensors are not able to eccentrically contract and slow the forward trunk progression. Therefore, the arms carry the load and slow or control the movement. Instead of the buttocks naturally lifting off of the chair as a result of the momentum as the center of mass shifts in front of the base of support, the arms must now compensate and initiate the lift. There is virtually no lower body involvement. In momentum transfer phase, there should be increased dorsiflexion, slight initiation of knee extension, slight hip extension, trunk flexion, and shoulder flexion. Dorsiflexion is only achieved once Mr. Fisher's arms begin to lift the buttocks from the seat. The lower body then is able to take over. In extension phase, there should be ankle plantar flexion, a continuation of knee extension, hip extension, trunk extension, and shoulder extension. However, full extension is never reached by the entire trunk and lower extremity. This could be due to weak lower body extensors such as hip or knee extensors. Mr. Fisher thus remains in a flexed position which never allows him to completely gain his balance. This places him at an increased risk of falling. The final stage of sit to stand is achieved once the hip is fully extended and all other motion associated with stabilization ceases. We should see neutralization of all of the joints. With Mr. Fisher, however, the body is unable to stabilize itself in the stabilization phase. Mr. Fisher is actually forced to take a couple of steps forward to regain his center of mass within his base of support and thus stabilize himself.
All right, now we're also going to work on Mr. Fisher's glutes. They were also a little weak, as is evident by the gait analysis that we did. So an easy exercise again for the geriatric population is to do a bridge, which really simply it is just bringing your belly up in line with the rest of your body. So if you can, raise your hips up, and if you can, hold that for a couple seconds, and then slowly and controlled bring it back down. Now if you can, try to do these until you're fatigued, and again twice a day. Okay, another good exercise to do that will strengthen your glutes is just a simple step up. So any stair or any step in your house, you can just step up slowly and controlled and back down. If that's too easy, I recommend doing about 3 sets of 10 of those. If it does become too easy, you can get free weights, hold on to those, and come up. So Mr. Fisher, if you want to try that. We'll try without the weights first.
Which foot?
It doesn't matter, we're going to do both of them, so. And then back down. Good. You alright? Alright. And those are all both good exercises for strengthening your glutes.